Hi, friend. How you feeling? Happy New Year. I hope that you are accepting of whatever you are feeling. Good, bad, and everything in between. That is the journey of being human. Welcome to the You Are Too Sensitive podcast with your very sensitive friend, Jade Beal. I'm very happy you're here. It is a beautiful Saturday. It's very windy, chilly in Tucson, Arizona. I don't have any work today. And the feeling in my body is just... Tomorrow I have a pretty big photo shoot. So I'm allowing myself to fully rest so I can show up fully for that photo shoot. And well, today I wanted to talk about something that I used to very much not believe in. The idea that as a woman, you can do it all. You can do it all. Or as a human, it's not just a woman, but I happen to be a woman. So I always bought into, I can do it all. I can be a successful business person, an artist, and a mother, and take care of myself, and be a friend. Well, turns out, I absolutely cannot do it all. The idea of doing it all requires me to abandon myself first, and then eventually abandon something else. For a long time, I had to abandon the mom, the mother I really wanted to be, because I put a lot of my energy into my success, into my photography. I did a lot of traveling when Sequoia was really young. I traveled all over the world doing photo projects. Just saying, that makes me feel tight in my body. And I'm happy I did it. I don't regret it. But the idea that we can do it all, in my opinion, is or at least for me, it feels like a robbery. That's what it feels like in my body. Being told, well, you can do it all. And be like, yeah, I can do it all. What I know for sure about myself is that I'm not good at multitasking, first of all. I have very limited energy. I always have. And so what do I want to give that very precious energy to? If I'm giving it all to my business, there's not much left for my precious boy. You might hear some wind in the background. I have the door open because I have my fireplace on, and the wind is like pushing the smoke back into my townhouse, and it's really smoking here, so I have to have the door open to get the smoke out. Anyway, you might hear the wind, so that's what it is. So this idea of doing it all and how it kind of robbed me from doing anything at all, honestly. When I know I've talked about this before in pretty good detail about when Sequoia was born. I was in such survival, running multiple businesses, all of them by a thread, because I have no savings. All of them are just like month to month, crossing my fingers, hope it all works out. The business part of me is not one that I've really invested much into because I don't want to. I could. I don't want to. I have done really well at pushing myself for business, but I don't like it. I don't like it. And I'm finally at peace with that. But I'm going to get more into why that myth of I can do it all is harmful, at least for me. And maybe you'll see something that resonates for yourself. But before I get there, I wanted to share with y'all that this is going to be my last podcast for a little bit. I don't know if I'm ending or if I'm just going to take a pause and start a new season, maybe in the spring or the summer. I start my nursing classes. Well, it's all prerequisites. It's not actually nursing yet, but I start that next week. And this episode ties perfectly in, is I need less to do. And even though this podcast does bring me joy, I spend a lot of time thinking about it. and it does take up a lot of my brain space, and I need to free up that brain space so I can dedicate to 16 credits. I have a lot of classes that I'm taking, and I have to work, and I have to take care of my baby boy. So this is going to pause. And I when I first started this podcast, I said I'm going to do it for 6 months and see how it goes. And it hasn't really grown or done much, but that's okay. If it had grown and gone more, I would love to invest more into it, but it hasn't really done that, at least for now. So that's all right. But it'll be here at least for now. I'm currently hosting this on a platform that costs money that I don't really have. So I might have to end it, and I don't know if that means it'll delete all the episodes. I'm not sure. I have one more month of my subscription. I'm going to see if I can move it over to a free platform. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try to figure that out. But I would love for the breath work to still be there. I would love for people to have something to meditate and have breath work guidance with. So we'll see if it can stay or not. But yeah, this is the last one for now. And I'm so grateful that you've given me your attention for the last 6 months, and that you've gifted me precious time in your day to listen and to calm your nervous system with me. So this idea of women can do it all, which is what I subscribe to, and I very much wanted to be that woman who could do it all. Actually, just even saying that, I feel a little bit anger in my body. I feel some anger because no, being a mother, I mean, the day that I gave birth to my son was by far the most magical day of my entire life, and I don't foresee anything surpassing that. And also, tending to a baby requires, at least for me, my soul and my physical body 24/7 for quite a while. And I wasn't even able to gift myself that spaciousness then, because I was so afraid of how I was going to pay my bills and keep my dance studio going and keep my photography going and keeping my massage business going. So I never was able to even lean fully in from the get-go of being fully present with a full-time duty, spiritual duty, love duty, to be there for my baby. Of course, I was there for him, but I also wasn't there because I was thinking of all the other things I needed to do. And I was constantly finding people to be with him so I could go do all the things I needed to do. And it was hard, y'all. It was so hard. I had no idea that I had such deep postpartum depression, but I know for sure I only had postpartum depression because I was so terrified of how I was going to freaking make it. If I had the resources to fully surrender and be present with my precious newborn baby, I don't even know who would have been, but I know I wouldn't have been. Maybe I would have been a little depressed and had some work to do around that, but I have a feeling no. I have a feeling I would have been able to tend to the grief that inevitably comes with becoming a mother, because we stop being the person we were before and we become someone new, and change is hard for humans, especially for deeply feelers like myself. And so, yeah, the idea then of like, well, I can be a mother and I can run a business and I can self-publish this book about bodies of mothers, and I can be on the Today Show and the BBC, and oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I was traveling so much. When I look back at my calendar from 2012, 2013, 14, 15, and 16, I don't know how she did that. My calendar was nuts. I was flying out of Tucson every other week. I mean, it was nuts. I don't even know who that person was. Bless her. Bless her for all the energy that she tapped into to make that all happen. And no, Because when I was away, I missed my baby so much grief. And I resented the fact that I had to work so hard and not get to be with my baby. I didn't resent anyone in particular. I just resented that that was how it was. And then I get back with my baby, but I'd be thinking the next thing I had to do. And honestly, I did well, but I didn't feel like I was doing anything well because I was so split. And that's part of the reason in the last year, 2025, for me was slowing way down so I could get clear on what was important. And what is important before my baby turns 18 and is on his own is that I slow down enough so I can be fully present with him. Work comes second, or actually comes third, because right behind arranging my life so I can have more energy to, for example, cook for him. Only in the last year have I started cooking better for my baby. I didn't have energy. And sometimes I still don't have energy, to be honest, after a long day that I still have to do. Sometimes I don't have the energy, and, well, I put a pizza in the oven or some mac and cheese in the microwave, and I forgive myself and we keep going. But when I have energy, I love cooking nutritious food for my precious baby. I love it, especially in the mornings. Breakfast is such a precious ritual that I love lighting candles for, and like mellow music and a nice relaxing breakfast to begin the day, full of protein and deliciousness. So that's now that I finally understand, no, I don't want to do it all. I don't. I wish that I would have understood that when he was young. I don't know what I would have done different, because I still would have needed to hustle in order to make it, to make my bills. But I think I would have changed things a little differently. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm one of those women who can do it all. Like I said, that just saying that makes me angry. No. How about we support our precious new mothers? Let them experience the grief of letting go of who they were before they became a mother, and then blossoming into this new paradigm of being a mother, which is a lot of work, both physical and soul work. It wasn't until I became a mother that I actually started doing my own internal work, my own shadow work, my own reparenting, so that I could become the closer to the parent I desire to be. Not because I'm parenting perfectly, no way, but I want to continue to evolve that lineage of parenting. I want to take what I learned from being a child and implement it in ways that support my baby, in ways that I think would have supported me better, knowing I'm still going to get things wrong. And I love the art of repair. I'm not afraid of my boy telling me one day that something I did hurt him or wasn't helpful or he's upset with me for. I expect it, in fact. And I relish the opportunity not only to be trusted by him to tell me such a thing, but also the opportunity to apologize, learn, and grow. So, this idea of doing it all just pisses me off. It really does. No, no. And so, right now, my son is about to turn 14 next month. 14. That means I only have 4 more years before he's an adult. This has gone by so fast. It's gone by so fast. So these next 4 years, my priority is my boy. And that means I'm going to work as little as I possibly can so I can have the most energy I can to focus what is my main priority, because I cannot do it all. I can do one thing pretty good, and even that I'm still going to mess up on. And when he's 18, well, then I'm going to shift it. And right now, going to school for me means starting to invest into that shift that I am going to do once he is 18 and I can focus more back on other things. I'm never going to not focus on him though. But by the time he's 18, hopefully I will have my nursing degree and I can put more time into such a thing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm wearing it all very loosely. I have no need for any of it to be any sort of way. What I do know is that I love learning. So to learn new things, even these prerequisites that I have to do before getting into a nursing program, I see it as fun because I love listening to podcasts and learning anyway. So this will just, for now, it might just replace all the podcasts I listen to and audiobooks. And instead, I'm going to learn these subjects. The first time I ever heard a woman say that it's such a myth that we can do it all, especially as a woman, or especially as me anyway. But it was from Teal Swan. She's like this spiritual self-help guru. Some people love her, some people hate her. I just think that she has a lot of interesting things to say, and I'm grateful for that. But she was the first person I ever heard say, no, that myth of we can do it all is harmful. It's soul crushing. And she gave herself as an example because she too is a mother. She has a son. But she's done something gorgeous, has a whole community of people who look after her son. So she has like this huge chosen family that look after her son and feed him, and because she devotes most of her focus on her career. And she's very clear about that. She's like, I had to make a choice, and I am devoting my focus to my career. I spend time with my boy, but I'm very honest that I'm choosing this, and I make sure he has the support he deserves and knows that I love him. And I feel like I've never heard a woman say that before. I feel like I've only heard women be like, I can do it all, and you know, who am I to say maybe they can. I just know for sure I cannot. And I really appreciated hearing someone with such a big life and a career as Teal Swan say that. It's the first time I ever heard it. And at first I kind of was prickly about it. I was kind of prickly. I was like, I don't know. What do you mean you can't do it all? Of course we can do it all. And then hearing her, I was like, oh my gosh. I could feel my body soften. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it all. In fact, I'm so tired of thinking I can't do it all. And then within that thinking of like we can do it all, I think it's a really perfect setup to be like, what's wrong with me if it's not going well, or we're exhausted, or we feel like we can't juggle it all? What's wrong with me? We ask ourselves. Again, attacking ourselves like we are the problem, rather than like, no, there's doing it all, like, F that crap. No. How about we slow the F down? Not doing it all. How about we do less? How about we pick in this season what is the most important and stick with that? I think this idea of doing it all is just, it can be, at least for me, for sure, completely soul theft, soul hijacking. It's a very good distraction. And of course, in this very individualistic reality and collective consciousness that we live in the United States of America, this idea that we can do it all as one person. When we are tribal people, we are clan people. We do it together. So what do we become? We become an entire village as one person. We become an entire village as one person. And then we beat ourselves up for not being able to be a village when we are only one person. So, I am in my season of I don't want to be a village anymore. I reject being a village. I am one person. Okay. As one person, I have limited energy. Okay. How do I want to focus it? And what does that mean? I need to make actual changes like selling my old house, limit getting my bills back down to zero, lowering my overhead so I can work less, so I can tend to my boy. Reminding myself, remembering that I always have supported myself so I can finally release the worry that I'm not going to be able to pay my bills because that takes up way too much space. As the kids call it, living rent free. The worry of not making it, just living rent free in my precious soul and mind. No, baby girl, I tell myself, we've always made it. We're going to continue to make it. So how about let's release that and we can use that spaciousness where that worry was living rent free to feel peace. Yeah. We are one precious human. And the world always wants to convince us that we're doing it wrong because there is a fix that costs good money to be made when we agree that there's something wrong with us. When we agree that, oh yeah, why can't I do all this? Why can't I be it all? What's wrong with me? May a mantra for 2026 be there's nothing wrong with me. Everything is right with me. What do I need to find more peace? What do I need to calm down? What do I need to center? Do I need to actually shake and scream and rage? Or do I need to meditate more? Or do I need to do both? I need both all the time. We are one human. And as humans, most of our time on earth has been spent in clan. As Americans, we don't even live with generational families anymore. Most cultures around the world live with their families. Children are looked after by grandparents and aunts and uncles, other cousins. But we just live in this idea that as an individual, we can be an entire clan and then berate ourselves for not living up to that, not being able to do that. It's time, my loves, it is time to realize these bizarre stories that we inherited and that we unwillingly, unknowingly, or maybe knowingly agreed to. And what do you want to do now? I promise you that your inner peace is the most precious treasure to protect, especially in this day and age. The highest form of activism to me right now is protecting my inner peace. Which means I gotta make hard decisions like pausing this podcast for now. I would like to keep going. I like knowing that some of you really look forward to it every week. And, well, I gotta be honest with how much I can do. But nothing is forever. All right. Before I end today, it's going to be a shorter pod today. I wanted to share another poem from Journey of the Soul by Sophia Katsaiti. It is called Unlearning. Before I read, let's take a deep breath together through our nose. Exhale through your mouth. Shoulders melt down. Jaw relaxes. Third eye between your eyebrows. Relax. One more breath through the nose. Open your mouth. Exhale. Shoulders melt. Soften. Unlearning. What I fear the most is that we will remember, for it is the forgetting that keeps the machine alive. It starved the soul then fed us sweet comforts to quiet her hunger. We drank the sedation offered and traded conscience for convenience. Slowly, the machine crept inward, colonizing our minds until our own thoughts knelt to serve it. It told us of borders until we forget this land has none. It named us enemies until our hearts built walls where bridges were needed. It sewed shame into the color of our skin and carved fear into our headlines. Because peace, my love, is not profitable to such a system. Because greed cannot live without an enemy. Do not be mistaken. The beast does not rule from without. Its throne is within. In the voices we mistake for our own, generation after generation. Forgetting is its oldest weapon, and the theft of memory for its oldest battle. For when no one questions the dream, we become the dreamer's prisoner, walking in circles and calling it life. But when one remembers, when one dares to unlearn, when we lift the veil and see behind every set of eyes their very own soul, then the machine begins to tremble. For no one who remembers can look upon suffering and stay silent. No one who remembers can be ruled. If one suffers, all suffers. It is this very empathy which is the enemy of empire. This is what they fear, not rebellion alone, but remembrance. For a soul that remembers is already free. So fitting for right now, in my opinion. So fitting. I feel like that is both for what's happening in the world, but also within ourselves. For a soul that remembers is already free. For my soul that's remembering, oh, honey girl, no, you don't have to do it all. Slow down, honey. It's okay. Don't listen. Don't listen to them. Of course, you can't be an entire clan as one human, honey. Of course, you have grief that you feel all alone in raising your boy. Of course, all of the things you feel. Yeah, valid. I want to read one more poem. It's called Dehumanization. Dehumanization was the goal. They called us sensitive, as though feeling were a flaw and not the final proof of our humanity. For numbness is the currency of the age. It is rewarded so that we may keep consuming, continue to obey without questioning. They mistake apathy for peace. But the ones who still feel are the true revolutionaries. The ones who still flinch at violence and grieve when the world bleeds. The ones who feel the weight of injustice and can still cry for people in lands far from their own. It is they who patch the world with compassion, even as it tears itself apart. And an empire built on desensitization. To feel deeply is to rebel. To remain tender is to refuse erasure. Each time you refuse to look past cruelty, you're refusing to be recruited by it. Each time you stop scrolling and allow a tragedy to touch you, you are repairing a fragment of the collective soul. For dehumanization feeds upon our numbness. It seeks our hearts automated and our empathy digitalized. It tells us that care is naive, that sensitivity is weakness, and that to survive is to close the heart. But survival without heart is not living. It is slow extinction. Perhaps it is not sensitivity that breaks the heart, but that which saves it. To feel deeply is to remember that we are all still human. Yes, my loves. Perfect with this deeply feeling community that I definitely am a part of. And may we continue to go deeper and deeper into remembering how to free ourselves from self-abandoning. Because we were taught to self-abandon. It's actually very praised to self-abandon. And also there's nothing wrong for self-abandoning. It's just that eventually the soul says enough. Enough. And so to relearn how to choose ourselves first, our peace, to protect our peace first, because we all are interconnected. So the more I protect my peace, the more I can give to this collective, like a little dot in the mycelium of the network of the trees. I can be a point of peace, a point of co-regulation for all of this wildness. So how can you remember how to free yourself from self-abandoning, my loves? What does that look like for you? Really, I want you to think about this, because it might not look that obvious at first. It didn't for me. I was very convinced that I could do it all, which meant I had to self-abandon and think that there was something wrong with me because it was hard to juggle all of the things for me. And that was because there was something wrong with me rather than this idea of doing it all was actually never fit in the first place. Never. There's nothing wrong with me. I just had self-abandoned so long ago. And here we are, still alive, getting to return back to our bodies over and over and over again. Getting to understand this earth school, getting to experience this earth school, all the intensity and beauty that comes with it, my loves. Pain is not something to be feared. It is an inner compass. So, please keep breathing. Please keep finding ways to release all the somaticized emotion that lives within our bodies, especially for those of us who are deeply feeling. Please consider that your precious body might need something different, and you might not even know what that looks like, but keep walking that way. Remember that you're one human, not an entire clan. Feel what you feel about that, and then ask yourself, what do you need? Slowing down allows us to really sink into what that might look like for us. These bodies are a beautiful, painful, mysterious earth chariot to our soul. Please continue to be kind to yours, my love, because the more kind you are to yours, I feel that. And the more kind I am to mine, that is a gift to you. We're in this together. All right, my loves. I don't know when we'll see each other next, but I might be dropping some breath work for y'all, so keep your eyes open for that maybe. I don't know. I don't know where we're going from here, but you can always find me on my website, jadebeal.com. Send me an email. Love to hear from you. All right. Until we meet again, sending so much love.